So what would you do if I told you there was a switch to turn on your brain? Would any of you believe me? Maybe, maybe not, right? So when we're taking back our brain, we have to focus on three different things: our body, our mind, and our spirit. Okay. So if I said, what if the negative thoughts would turn off your brain and positive thoughts would turn on your brain? What would you think? Right. And so whenever I'm looking at the brain, I'm always like, how were we created to function? Right. So what we were designed, we were all created in the image of God. So that means we are wired for positivity. We're wired for goodness. We're wired mainly for love. And so anything that's not in the direction of that wiring is going to be in the opposite of what we are created to be. So that means we can take our negative thoughts and we can take our illnesses and we can change so many things in our lives just by changing our thought processes. Can you believe that? I don't know. I find that so fascinating. So in 2 Timothy 1:7, it tells us God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of sound mind. So anything that's fearful, anything that's negative, anything that is anything but power, love, and a sound mind is not from the Lord. It's not what you were created to be. So we actually have to make a conscious effort. So where is it coming from? It's coming straight from the pit of hell. That's not power, love, and a sound mind. So we have to make that conscious effort to switch our thoughts. It's called epigenetics in our brain. It's called neuroplasticity, which means our brain can change. We are not a product of our genetics. We are just not, because we can change our brain. We're going to take it back. And so my mom recently died and she had dementia, Alzheimer's, really who knows what kind of diagnosis it was, because there were so many factors at play there. And people ask me, so does this run in your family? Are you afraid of getting dementia? And the answer is no and no. It doesn't run in the family. Maybe there's a predisposition in some families, say towards heart conditions. Maybe there's a skin condition. Maybe in some families there's a genetic disposition, maybe for some brain challenges. But generally, it's an environmental issue that triggers those genetics. So there's something gone wrong in the microbiome. There's some toxicity going on, which is chemical, emotional, physical toxicity, all sorts of different stressors that turn on those genes. And so if I'm doing everything I can to turn off the negative genes with my positive thoughts, with my positive lifestyle, with my positive detox, whatever it might be, then no, I am not at risk for any of those things, right? We do live in this sinful, fallen world, but you can shift those things. You do not have to live in a state of negativity. So it's been found that when you speak negative thoughts, even when you think negative thoughts, that the voltage of your cells, the electrical current, the energy that's in our cell actually decreases. So we go from a vibrant, positive cell when we're living in a state of love and happiness and sound mind. We're not riddled with fear. Our cells actually have a high vibration. This can actually be measured. So this is science. This is not hokey pokey stuff. This is actual science that says our cellular vibration, the voltage in our cells, is actually at a higher plane when we have a positive attitude and we live in a positive environment. When we have a negative attitude, we're speaking negative thoughts, we think negative thoughts, we're around negative people, our voltage is lower and we actually get sick because our cells do not have a high, healthy vibration. So it is critical, because life and death is in the power of the tongue. So what do we say? What do we start speaking? Even if we feel negative, what do we have to do? We just have to speak positive. We have to speak out positive words. And when we start speaking positive words and we say it with a smile, like how many of you out there can actually smile and not feel a shift in your negative attitude? I mean, you can like fake smile, right? But after a while, you're like, oh, maybe I don't feel so bad. And then all of a sudden it becomes not a fake smile, right? How many studies are out there on laughter that actually shifts, like it heals people from cancer and autoimmune diseases? Like so much of everything that we're experiencing physically has to do with all of this here. I'm always saying we are top down people. If we don't fix this, We can't fix anything below the neck. We have got to get our thought patterns right. We have to live in a state of gratitude. We just do. Otherwise, you're going to be sick. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So I want you to remember that. A couple other scriptures that I like to put back here is that in Lamentations 3:22 and 23, it tells us the Lord's mercies are new every single morning. So if yesterday was a flop, we don't have to carry any of that energy. We don't have to carry any of those negative thoughts into the next day, because the Lord's mercies are new every single day. And since we are created in the image of God, guess what? We get to like bathe in those new mercies. It's a whole new day. It's a whole new experience. Yes, some things might be like a consequence of something that happened the day before, but we can shift that process. We can shift that process and shift those things that are coming our way. It's amazing. And Romans 12:2 says that we are supposed to renew our minds, renew our thoughts. Again, life and death is in the power of the tongue. If I'm speaking negative to my spouse, like as a woman, let's be really honest. Can we actually have a bad day by ourselves? Can you have a bad day by yourself? That answer is no, because it spills over into everybody else in the house. All of a sudden, your hubby's mad, your kids are mad, like the dog is misbehaving. I don't know, I go out to the horse barn. If I'm in a bad mood, the horse doesn't like me for the day. Like, you cannot have a bad day by yourself. Why? Because your electrical current, your vibration in your body affects every single thing around you. So if you're having a bad day, if you're feeling a headache coming on, if you're feeling pain in your body, speak life. Speak to that pain. Tell it to go away. Speak to that headache. Tell it to not hurt. Speak to the negativity around you. No matter what happens, I'm going to still live at a higher plane. I have the mind of Christ. I am created for power, love, and a sound mind. So that's where I want to live. Do I always do that? No, but that's my desire. And the longer I have that desire and the more grounded I get in knowing who I am and who I am created to be, the higher vibrational plane I live on, because I was created in the image of God. Okay, so we were created for up here. We were not created for down here. We are created to live in victory, created to live in victory. Absolutely. So I want to leave you with one final thought. It's from Peace Pilgrim. If you realized how powerful your thoughts are, you would never think a negative thought. So I challenge you today, when a negative thought comes in there, because chances are it will, especially if you're not living in that state of power, love, and a sound mind, I'm going to challenge you to smile and say, life is good. I love you, if it's a person, or I love my life. Or even say, look in the mirror and say, you know what? I love you and you are loved by God. Just change how you're speaking today. Take that small step forward. Let's take back our brain and change the lives of everyone around us. Have a very blessed day, and I will see you in the next episode.